Hey there, crafty friends. Suzanne here in the studio today with the February 2024 Counterfeit Kit Challenge. This month's kit chosen for inspiration was from the Not Just for Boys Kit Club, and you can see a photo of it here. This is called November Rain, and it's really a very pretty kit. As you can see here, I have already laid out all of my papers. But don't worry, I will scoop these all up in a minute and show them to you one by one. I ended up with 15 different papers, and several of these I have extras of. So that makes my kit really super, super big this month, as you will also see when you see all the embellishments I have added in. Okay, let's scoop. Okay, let's look here. As you can see here, we have both the A sides of the paper and the B sides. And let me show you as the inspiration for the A sides. I have this, and they had a piece of paper in there that had lots of circular elements on it, but I can use a stencil to add more circular elements to this. They had used cut-apart cards from this Acorn Lane by Simple Stories. I did not have the cut-apart cards. I just have a couple of pieces of this line, so I thought I would go ahead and take the iconic floral out of that one. They had a piece here that a lot of the Kit Club design team were having a hard time finding, that big bold stripe, and I did too. I ended up going with this paper in the end, where we've got like 4 stripes, but it's all subdued. And then next we had a sort of diagonal, so I pulled out this. And then after that they had a wood grain. They had something very weathered, and I did not go super weathered because I'm not real big on the grungy look per se. Okay, so then in the next row, what did we have? This is also A side. This was this interesting paper here. For that, I tried something new. I had gotten some, what is this called? Mercury glass kind of paper. This was from Die Cuts with a View. I had just gotten some of that, so I thought I would throw that in. And then they had a brick. So I had this brick paper from P13. And then they had another brown paper, and I went for something a little more whimsical. I pulled in this orange and gray light bulbs. I thought that was kind of fun. And then I believe they had another plaid, so I picked this. And then I also went for something a little more playful in with these stars. So a lot of these papers were from my 100 sheets of pattern paper stack that I'm trying to get rid of. But I wanted to add some other things in too. When you look at these B sides of their papers, they had something very dark here. So for that, I have, this is from Paper Rose. It's the back side of one of their textures pack. They had a little bitty gingham. This is actually the back side of that iconic floral from Acorn. They had another sort of white wood grain, so I'm going to use this. Pull that around like that. They had a really nice texture like burlap. And then lastly, they had a small floral. Okay, so there are all the papers. Okay, now let's embellish this kit, shall we? Well, first, one of the things that they had was that very distinctive stencil. And I didn't have anything quite like that, but the closest thing I had that I thought I would actually use was this Simple Story stencil of a clock. And then I also decided to throw in this Tim Holtz speckles because you could get an effect much like this here. And then, of course, with those two, I also needed some mixed media items. So I'm doing Heidi Swapp's Color Shine in Bronzer, as well as her Navy Color Shine. I also found some solar paste. I think this was a freebie I got. So that's in golden, what do they call that? Golden something. And I had some Nuvo Stone Drops in chalk white. So they're sort of my mixed media part of the kit. You know, I'm not real big on mixed media, but I thought I could play with it a little. They also had alphabets, and of course alphabets can be tricky for me. Seems like I always pick a lot of them, and then half the time I don't use anything I pick. Of course, they had a nice wood grain one in their add-on kit, so I had some of that left. I also had this from Pebbles. That was from American Crafts. This is from Pebbles. And then for smaller ones, I had this Florence, as well as this Teresa Collins, and this Elle Studio puffy stickers. So that's quite a bit, but who knows? I'm not going to hesitate to pull other ones out of my stash. They also had quite a few die cuts. So I had found some from Memory Lane by Fancy Pants, I believe this is. And it has tags as well as some nice scenes, and then these word cards, nice soft muted colors, and some labels. So I will put all of those in. I also will make some tags maybe. I've had this in my stash forever. This garden tag stamp of the month. I have the die cuts to be able to cut these tags out, so I'm going to add that in. I looked for some stickers, and I found various things. Since I had this Teresa Collins Life Emporium alphabet, I also had some leftover stickers that go with that. So I'm going to add those in as well over here. Just barely see all of that. And then I had some others from Momenta. These were, I'm sure, Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning here in my town actually closed the last week of February last year. So it's been not quite a year since they've been gone. Of course, I really miss them. So there's that. A little bit of cork in here made me pull some more cork from American Crafts. I also needed some dimensional things. I found these few nature walks from Pretty Little Studio, so I'm going to add those in as well. I found some nice textured brads here. These are Captivating by Pink Paisley. Oh my, these are so old. So I'm going to add those in. I also had the glossy enamel dots for Acorn Lane, so I will add those in as well. What else? Oh, I found these. These are also Teresa Collins. She seems to do that distressed, slightly distressed antique look real well. I had some of her leftover chipboard, so I'm going to add that in as well. And what else? Oh, for my stash, I also thought I wanted to try using something I hadn't used yet. I had gotten just a couple of sets of these alcohol markers called Classique by Spectrum Noir, and I got one that was called Antique and one that was Blues and Grays. So I think these are going to work really, really well in my kit. So let me put those in this little container here. See if that'll sit there. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's about it. Oh, at the last minute, no, one of the last things I pulled, because I spent so much time looking for this silly piece of paper, which I never did exactly find, I decided that I would add in this Tranquility cluster kit from 49th and Market. I don't actually have any of this paper. So the colors were right, and it's got some tags and tickets. And I think these background colors here are really going to work well with that. So I'm going to add that in as well. So there you have my kit. There's a lot in it, but I think I'm going to have a lot to do in February. There are several sketch challenges. I'm not doing layout a day, but my sister is coming, so I will be doing lots of scrapbooking with her. And then I also found a new challenge, the Follow a Sketch February challenge, so I may be playing along with that as well. Okay, I hope you enjoyed me seeing me put my kit together. It's a pretty big one, so I'll have to go get a big container to put it in. As always, I appreciate your time and attention. Bye for a bit.